So one of the things that we all struggle with is comparison, in particular when you're in your 20s. It's kind of very dominant in your mind. How does seeing Jesus, the way you just talked about, help us put comparison to death?
By the grace of God, I am what I am, and His grace toward me was not in vain, but I worked harder than any of them. Nevertheless, it was not I, but the grace of God that was with me. That's 1 Corinthians 15:10. And it didn't land on me until recently when you said, by the grace of God, I am what I am. Now, grace is good. Grace is good.
Amen.
Right?
I love it.
Grace is not, oh, I missed it, or your harm is really what I'm after. That's not grace. And Paul said, by the grace of God, I am what I am. Now, either you're going to be okay with that or reject Him. He's not gracious. He's not powerful. He's not wise. He's not gracious because I don't like how tall I am, or how my fatty tissue is proportioned in my body, or how my hair is, or how my complexion is, or how my personality is, or how my disability is. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad that I have Johnny Erickson Tada writing a book like Practicing the Presence of Jesus, which my wife and I read out loud to each other last year. I'm giving it to people right and left. I'm going to require it as a textbook for my class on 2 Corinthians because Johnny, as you know, has been in a wheelchair for about 53 years, and she's singing like nobody sings. So that is crucial, that we need more witnesses like that to God's sovereignty in controlling what happens to us. So here she is. She could be very bitter. Like, I don't like the way I am. I don't want to be in this chair. And she's very honest that she said, first thing I'm going to do when I get to heaven is bow before Jesus and then throw this chair into hell. That's a very good way to say it. But she's not accusing Jesus as being hellish.
Yeah.
While she's in that chair. So I don't know what you're dealing with that makes you not like the way God made you. I mean, I have been frustrated all my life that I can't read more quickly. I can't read any faster than I can talk. So I struggle like crazy to get this education that I got, and then I realized I'll just never be a great scholar. I won't be like Kevin DeYoung. Kevin DeYoung, good grief. He's going to talk to you on Saturday. He's already talked to you up here. That guy reads everything. He remembers what he reads. He says smart things about what he reads. And I just look at that and say, I might read a book a month, maybe. So just know that when I was your age, a little younger, I could not speak in front of a group. I was paralyzed. In the 9th grade, when the teacher required that we read one paragraph in front of the whole class to describe our project, as we were coming down the road to me, I looked down and I could see my shirt going like this. My heart was beating so hard. I got up and went to the bathroom and cried my eyes out. That's the 9th grade. I cannot speak in front of a group. I hated it. I hated that. I didn't know what God was doing. It didn't make any sense to me at all. And then there was the slow reading. And I had acne. I hated acne. I hated pimples. I think nobody can like me. I got these zits all over my face. It's hard to be a teenager, I'll tell you. It is. Now, from my perspective now, I think I sinned a lot in responding that way to my disability. And God had plans to do something through that I don't think anybody can quite estimate. So, by the grace of God, you are who you are. That's the first answer to the question. What do you do when people scorn you, disapprove of you? You don't measure up to them, and you don't measure up to yourself. The other thing I would say is Jesus is so gloriously satisfied to know Him and to know His approval caused in Acts 5:41 Peter and the other apostles to come out from being beaten and shamed. And it says they rejoiced that they had been counted worthy to be shamed for the sake of the name. So you've got a great Jesus when you can have a whole crowd of people mock you and walk out rejoicing. That's the miracle we want to happen in this conference. You are so satisfied in His identity of you, His friendship of you, His acceptance of you, His purpose for your life, that these people, they don't count like that counts. Now, I'll stop here, but I was in a group. It's just true confession, all right? I'm 78 years old. I'll turn 79 in a few days. That means I'm entering my 80th year, which means I'm entering my 9th decade. That's old, right? And I was in a group thinking, I got my identity nailed down. John Piper knows who he is. He's okay with that. And he knows what he can't do. He knows what he can do. And I was playing a game. And one of the pieces of the game was everybody think of a suit. I don't even know how to say this. A suit in the card game suit. And think of it, and then we'll go around and see how many have the same one. I didn't know. I didn't know what they are. I've never played a game of cards in my life. Can you believe that? I mean, I'm so totally fundy out of it. And I said, I think there's a king in the deck. So I said, king. And they laughed at me. And I felt that old sting. I really did. I felt the old idiot. You're an idiot. Everybody thinks you're an idiot. You got pimples, you can't talk, you're one of those crazy Christians. This is a dangerous thing, and you never probably, I mean, that doesn't happen very often to me, but I felt the sting, and I kind of laughed and rolled with it. Sinners to the end, in need of grace.
Yeah, if the sovereign God sent His Son to die for you, it doesn't ultimately matter what anybody says about you.
Amen.
Amen.